My husband and I wanted to expand our family, and things weren't happening for us. And we were exploring other options. And at the time, I was having lunch with a really, really close friend whom I admire greatly. And during conversation, the question was asked, have we ever considered being foster parents? I think you'd be really great at it. And from there, that planted the seed, and we moved forward.
We have quite a few success stories that I call them. We have children, many of our children come back. They come back at Christmas time. We've had children go into college and graduate. We've had kids come back with their Regents diplomas and show us and say that we helped guide them to that so they can graduate from college. We have some in the military. We have one that's been coming every year back for Christmas. He gets a 3-day furlough. He winds up with a 2-week leave, and he winds up staying all 2 weeks every week, every year for us. He comes back in. It's those kinds of experiences that we have that make it all worthwhile.
My son was 17 and my daughter was 12 at the time we took our first placement. I watched my 17-year-old son melt for a little baby. And for my son, I never thought that I would see that. He's a little bit of a grump at times, and to see this 17-year-old wanting to use his own money at Christmas to buy matching sneakers for this little girl. And that has continued, and they've had many pairs of matching shoes. Seeing him post to Instagram about her, writing essays in school about how it's changed his view on things. My daughter has now chosen her career based on a foster care impact. Our second placement had a lot of issues, had a lot of challenges, and because of that, we have a lot of service providers coming into the home. And my daughter said to me, I think I want to be an occupational therapist like Miss Madison. And seeing her help Silas and seeing her make a difference in him, she has decided that that's what she wants to do, is make a difference in other kids' lives.
I've done a lot of things in my life. This is the best thing I've ever done. It gives us, my family, great satisfaction in knowing that we helped change a kid's life, whether it be something simple as getting them back home, whether it be to grandparents, whether it be to adoption, or whether they wind up adopted by us or somebody else. We have a 20-year-old daughter who grew up in this. She's been in it her whole life. She's benefited from us having those foster kids in the house. We've got 5 other children that are adult now that all grew up in foster care in some parts of their lives. And every single one of them have benefited from having the foster children in our home. Now, you'd think the foster children are the ones that would benefit, but to be honest, my family benefited also, because they all had a chance to see unconditional love, see tribulations, see kids that might have been traumatized, and see the effects of what we did in helping fix some of that stuff. Have we ever had challenges with our children? Yes. I'll give you an example. We had a child that came in to our home. I believe he was around 10 at the time, had numerous diagnoses of self-injurious behavior, a little bit of mental health, ADHD, and some other things going on. A lot of trauma. He had a lot of issues, a lot of neglect in his life. We brought him into our home, and he stayed with us several years. That child now is in the military now. We were able to overcome a lot of those issues that he had through structure, through consistency, through unconditional love. And like I said, that child is a success story now.
One of the benefits of foster care is there are other supports. When you're raising your kids, you know, your supports are kind of families and friends. When you're a foster parent, you still have your family, you still have your friends, but you also have the support of your caseworkers and at times the support of the judges and the court system, the support of law guardians and things like that. So you have a little extra that can help you get through some of the tough stuff.
HGS is there to help as a team. They have a case aid department, case planner department, a clinical department, and administration that are always listening throughout this process to get us through all those challenges.
What I learned that I didn't anticipate learning was that love has absolutely no boundaries, that you can love someone instantly that you have absolutely no connection to. I learned that I kind of learned to let go. I was somebody that I was controlled and schedules were comfort to me, to plan months and months and months ahead because it just was how I roll. I learned that maybe that's not how I need to roll. Foster care kind of helped me live more in the moment, live more for the day-to-day, not worry so much about tomorrow, and focus on what's in front of me today and what I can do today, how I can help today, and what I can change today.
Look, it's hard to navigate this system. These children are pulled out usually under pretenses where they don't want to be pulled from their homes and what they know is normal. And they're taken out and they're put into a stranger's home, and we have to navigate that part of it and try and fix that part of it. And the way we do that is, like I said, we show unconditional love, consistency, and stability.
These kids have these things and they need them, and you make that happen. For me, it was easier, or I guess it made it easier because I did have an employer who was sympathetic to those things and allowed me to participate, because I do think as a foster parent, the more you participate in those things, the better you're able to help your children, because you do, when you interact with the court system, when you meet with the law guardians, when you participate in visitations, you get that whole picture. You get that connection with the bio parents or any other family members. You get the connections with the judge and the law guardian to be able to fully understand your child's case.
If you're interested in being a foster care parent, if you're interested in being a respite care parent, if you're interested in adoption, the biggest thing I go by is stay with the program, hang in there. It gets easier as you go along. You're going to get more experience in working with children.
Take a risk. I think a lot of what I've heard from people, and when people find out you're a foster parent, they kind of ask you the same thing over and over and over again. And one of the questions I get asked all the time is, how can you do that? I could never do it. I would get so attached. Or I could never give a child up. And my answer to that is always, then that means you'd be a good foster parent, because these kids do need you to get attached. They need somebody that's going to fight for them, somebody that's going to care about them, and somebody that would be sad if they went back to their family, because they need someone to love and care for them. I always say to them, you know, don't live in that fear. Don't not do something because you're afraid of a negative outcome. Because had I thought that route, had my husband and I said, you know, oh no, that's too big of a risk for us, I'm too afraid, we couldn't bring kids into our home, and what if they went home? Because we would have missed out on the greatest experience of our life, honestly. You know, you have to take that risk. And even if they're there for a minute, you're still making a difference. They need somebody to take a risk, to open their hearts, to open their homes. And if you have that child for 5 minutes, 5 months, or 5 years, you're making a difference. And you're fulfilling a need. And the world needs more people to take risks like this.